Another brutal week of power rankings. Are you kidding me? Why are they always so darn hard? They're so hard. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Info. We got the week, sorry, I keep doing that. Post week 13 power rankings. All teams, of course. The only difference in this one is who's the worst team in the NFL. Tell you much, the Jets aren't. They're 3-9 though. They're an F tier. Could fight against the Eagles. They lost 33-18. Their offense is to be more consistent. If they want to go in D tier, they're a really bad team. I don't hate their head coach. I don't hate their quarterback. I don't really hate anything about them. They're just young and bad. Basically it. Bengals, they're going in B tier. They can't beat top tier competition. I'm not saying the Chargers are top tier competition by any means, but they have not beaten a top tier opponent since week, what was it, 7? Yeah, they got to beat a good team before I can actually put them in A. They're a good team, but you can't give up 41 points, which they did. Their offenses can't turn over the ball. They got to do a lot of stuff well if they want to be these top tier teams, which they can. They just got to play better. Browns, they're going in T tier. They're 6-6. They got to make or break game against at home against the Ravens. They lose that, they're basically done. They need to win some games. If they win out, they have a really good chance of making the playoffs. But they got to play really well down the stretch if they want to make them, because they made some bad mistakes. Jags, they got blown out by the Rams, just showing they're a terrible team. They go there. Okay, Vikings in my thumbnail. They're staying in C. They beat the Packers a couple weeks ago. They lose to the Lions this week. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference. But if you wanted to know, I really don't doubt them yet. They're 5-7. I know they're pretty darn bad, but you can't move them. It's one terrible game. I get that. I could drop them. They were my number 1. They lose to the Lions. I'll put them in C. But they're so inconsistent. Can't put them in D because if they lose, I'll put them in D. But they're really on that hinge. They're not a good team right now. Bucs S tier. They are not exactly legitimate. But they are 9-3. They have beaten a couple good teams. They do struggle against really good teams. But I honestly think they can. They're the only team in the NFC right now that can go into Green Bay and beat them. Don't think the Cardinals can for a variety of reasons. But yeah, they're the only team in the NFL I actually trust going in there and beating them. Well, in the NFC anyway. Niners C tier. They had a chance. Honestly, I want to put them in B tier. They beat the Bengals. They won B tier. But they had a chance to keep pace with the Rams, put a lot of pressure on them. They're still a wild card team, but they really need to win a couple more games. They're not going to win the division. They're not. They're basically their last chance. They're 4 games back of the Cardinals. They just choked, if you ask me. But they're going to probably go and be they're a good team. They just have to, they can't lose like that to a team that they're much better than. Falcons D tier, they're frauds. They're 5-7. They're not F tier. They're not that bad, but they're not good at all. So they go there. Ravens A tier. I mean, they're hanging on a thread. They were the number 1 seed. They are not a legitimate team at all. They can run the football somewhat well. Lamar's kind of carrying them right now. They do have a couple weapons. They don't have a secondary. That's their one problem. They got a lot of stuff to work on. They can still beat bad teams, though, so I'll put them in A. They're 8-4 right now. That's where they stand. They'll go there. Titans, they are frauds. I will put them in A, though. They are 8-4. They've lost 2 straight. They need to win some games if they want to go back to that S tier. They are done, too. These 2 teams, they have a lot to do. They're not the best teams in the AFC. But they are good teams, so you got to put them where they deserve to be, and the records show. Bears, D tier. Oh, my goodness. They're so bad. They were home. They can run the football. Their defense is so banged up. Khalil's out for the season. Khalil Mack. They have a lot of stuff they need to work on, but they're in D tier. Here's why. They are not an average football team. An average football team would play the Cardinals close. They did not play the Cardinals close. They didn't get blown out, but it wasn't a good game. I'm sick and tired of talking about the Bears. Okay, now this gets interesting. If you didn't know, yeah, the Texans are eliminated from the playoffs. Yeah, the Lions might have a worse record by half a game. I don't care. The Texans are the worst team in the NFL. They're done. They're eliminated. At least the Lions have a shot at making playoffs. They're not going anywhere. Yeah, will the Lions go back here? Probably, because they're going to get eliminated. But Hey, for 1 week they won a game. They're an F tier. Yeah, I know the Texans beat the Titans, but they're gonna go back here. It's only a really 1 week thing, but all these teams still have a shot to make the playoffs. As crazy as that sounds. Patriots, I can't put them in A tier. I can't put them in my #1 yet. They will be probably next week, but no team is gonna beat the Patriots right now, and here's why. In any temperature, they will win. They can run the football. The 3 teams that can run the football the best in the NFL and get in there are the Patriots, Ravens, and Niners. That's why these 3 teams are good teams. They all have their shortages. Like, none of them are great passing offenses. None of them are great run defenses. They're not terrible, but they're not great. They're good pass defenses, but they all have the same thing in common. They can run the darn football, and the Patriots are the best of the bunch, so they're an S tier. Cardinals, yeah, they're gonna be my #1. They're 10-2. If they probably won't be that next year because I do have a feeling the Rams will knock them off. But they are the best record in the NFL. They're the pretty boys. They're up there right now. They are not the best team in the NFL in my opinion, but they have the best record. They're showing it. They beat up on the Bears, so they go my #1. Post week 13, #1. Good for you. Colts B tier. They're gonna be a good team. They just aren't super consistent. They gotta finish games, and if they're able to finish games, if you can do it better than the Vikings and the Niners, you win games. But they just have to finish games better, and they'll win games. They can run the football. They can also probably pass the football because I've seen them do it. Carson is definitely. If they just don't turn over the ball when they throw the ball, and then they play better defense, they'll win a lot more games. Chargers can't put them in A tier. They're too inconsistent, but they go there. They just beat up on the Bengals. Yeah, I get they choked, but their offense is so hit or miss that when they hit, it's so big. When they miss, well, they miss. The defense is inconsistent, but gets the job done, so they're in B tier. They could definitely be an A tier team. They just haven't shown that potential yet. Dolphins, they win 6 in a row. I'll put them in B tier. They're developing. They were down here. They got up to here. They're up here right now. They beat the Giants by 11 at home. If they beat them bad, I'd put them in B. They're a good football team, but they've won 5 in a row. I get that. If they win next week, yes, I will put them in B tier. There's a lot of teams they can beat right now. They have the Saints, Titans, Jets this week, so I'll move them up to B if they win. They have the Saints and Titans after that. Saints, Titans, and then Saints on Monday Night Football, and then they have the no, not the Bills. Who do they have? I remember we looked at this. No, Patriots week 18. Other than that, I think they can win the rest of their games. Honestly, they're gonna have a tough time beating the Patriots. The only way they'd ever do that is if their defense plays outstanding and their offense scores points. Oh yeah, and they're home though, so that could help too. But then for the Eagles, they're going in C tier. They're better than these 2 teams. Here's why. Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback, and they have the best backup in the NFL. I don't care what people say. He's the best backup in the NFL. Not only that, but they can run the darn football. Like I said, they're arguably top 5. They can run the darn football. They have good defensive players. Are they a little inconsistent? Absolutely. Do you have a really big play corner? Yes. Better. Darius Slay is basically Trayvon Diggs on steroids who doesn't get beat. A really good player. Well, he does get beat sometimes. But I like what the Eagles are doing in Philadelphia. They're 6-7. They probably won't make the playoffs, but they're looking decent right now. Cowboys, I will put them in A. Can't put them in S. They bounced back. They're 8-4. They beat Washington. They'll go in S. They're a really good football team. They just got to be more physical and play better. Washington B tier. I don't really know what else to say. They went into Las Vegas and knocked off the Raiders. They're 6-6. You gotta take this team seriously. I'm sorry. They won 4 in a row. They can win these close games. They can run out the clock. Here's why they're a B team. Are they better than any of these teams? They're probably worse than some of the teams down here. Why are they in B tier? Here is why. They finish games. They finish games better than anyone else in the NFL. I don't even care what you say. Best finishing team in the NFL. That's why they're in B tier. They can win football games. That's why they're there. Bills A tier. Here's why. They're too good of a football team. I've said this like the Rams. The Rams and the Bills are the most talented teams in the NFL. But the Bills have to stop the darn run if they want to win games. Their defense is amazing. I get that. Yeah, I get they lost Tre'Davious White. They're probably not as good as they used to be. But when they stop the run, their defense is the best in the NFL, undoubtedly. They're better than the Patriots defense by far. And part of the reason the Patriots defense is so good, I get that, yeah, they have a lot of good players, but it's because their offense can run the football. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. Packers S tier. They're the best. They're the second best team in the NFL. They're 9-3. They're really legit. They're the team that you want to. If you go in there, they're the team to beat right now. Not as good as the Cardinals. Well, they beat the Cardinals. But the reason they're not here is because they have a worse record. That's basically it. And they haven't been amazing on the road. They're undefeated at home. They're the team, if you go in there, you want to beat them. Like, that's just your motivation. Yeah, Packers are a really good team. Then we go to the Rams. Rams are an 8th tier. I really like what they saw. Yeah, I know it's against the Jaguars. They're not the greatest defense. They can't stop the run pretty well, though. The Rams, if they do what they did, executed the way they did, and played as physical as they did this week, they will beat the Cardinals. Not bad, but they will beat the Cardinals because the Cardinals' defense is not great. Their offense is good, I get that. But the Rams' defense was really good. Their offense was really good. If you can play like that, I don't care who you're playing, you're gonna beat them because the Rams have the talent for it, and if they play like that, their game plan is perfect. Raiders C tier. Here's why. They're just so like banged up, inconsistent, like mentally. Ugh. When you have a team like that, it's just hard to win a ton of games. They went into Dallas. They're just a roller coaster right now. That's why they're in C tier. I get they win a game, I'll put them back in B tier, but they lost the game they needed to win, so they're in C tier. Chiefs, they're back. They're in S tier. I know how crazy that sounds though. I get it. They've won 5 in a row though. My goodness, their defenses look awesome. I know their defenses look like the best in the NFL. Their offense has been like D to C. They haven't been great. They were good for one game. I gotta admit, they were good for one game. Their offense is more consistent. I know how crazy that sounds. They'll be the best team in the NFL. They can beat anybody right now because their defense is playing super well. Saints, C tier. They're not. Well, yeah, I'm putting them in D. When you have to throw when your quarterback has to turn over the ball 4 times to score points, there's problems. The Saints, I get it. They're just not. I feel bad for them, honestly, but they're in D tier. They're not a good football team. Like, their defense is good. Their offense is bad. Like, they're too injured for me to even say anything more. They're done. I'm sorry, Saints fans, but tough year. Giants, D tier. They're so bad. Their offense is terrible. Their defense is decent. They can run the football when they want to. Their offensive line is super inconsistent. They need to overhaul the whole entire ship. This team just needs to start scoring points. Seahawks, they're going in C tier. I know it was a 1-week thing, but my goodness, they look good. They finished that game and won the darn thing. Their defense, they didn't lean on, but their offense and defense play complementary. That's the reason they won. Don't care they had turnovers. Their defense helped them back, and then they helped return the favor. The Seahawks are not a D team. They are honestly better than all these teams down here. Not by a lot, but they're better. So they're going in C. I know they're 4-8, but they're the best 4-8 team in the NFL. Steelers, I don't really care what people say. They're not a great football team. Who are they playing this week? I can check literally right now. Oh yeah, Vikings on Thursday night. You know what? If they beat the Vikings really good on Thursday night, like, it looks really nice, I will put them in B, but other than that, like, I really can't put them there. It's just not fair to some of the other teams. They're in C tier because they just aren't a good team. Their defense is D. It's above average. They're actually pretty darn good. Their offense is horrible though, so they fall right in the middle. Broncos C tier. They're gonna, like I said, they struggle. They're gonna struggle to beat good teams. They have beat a couple good teams, but they're just gonna be mediocre this season. That's what they've been. So they're in C tier. Panthers, same thing. They were on a bye. They looked really bad, but their defense is good enough to the point where I will be convinced they'll be an average team. Either way, guys, like, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's going to be the end of Week 13, post-Week 13 power rankings. Let's go on to Week 14 Thursday Night Football preview. We'll get right into it. Either way, like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. That's the end of Week 13. Let's go on to Week 14.